Good morning, traders. It's Trader Rob. We are live. Today is Wednesday, July 17th, 8 a.m. Let's see here what the commodities markets have been doing. Let's start off in oil on the left-hand side of my chart. Pretty much since yesterday, kind of been staying in this range from the 79s to 80s. And then here this morning, looks like we got a nice little movement to the upside. Overnight open is right at the 79.82 mark. And in gold, we had a nice little push down to the overnight open, which is sitting at 24.73. And pretty much tested this overnight open, came right back up. And then now it's just kind of been sitting in this range in the 24.79 range. So the trade setups that we're currently looking for, starting here in the next 5 minutes, we're taking a look at oil session 1 and gold session, and the gold session, which go from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And what we're looking for is these inside bars. I've got an indicator here on my NinjaTrader chart that pretty much just paints inside bars. Remember, I consider an inside bar anything that is either an equal high, like in this case, we got an equal high, or an equal low, or both, or anything that closes in between the high and the low of the previous candle. So there is sometimes some confusion with inside bar indicators that do not show an inside bar when it has an equal high. I consider it still an inside bar, and pretty much the premise of my strategy is that these inside bars show small levels or small periods in time where there is a slight indecision in the marketplace, and depending on which way price action wants to go, typically we'll see a decent move outside of one of these inside bars. Obviously doesn't happen every single time, but more times than not it does spot these very small really what I call them is just temporary burst of momentum, and based on very clear rules and conditions, we're able to take these trades as long as it fits between a time frame that we're working on. So what I'll do is if you go to a website that I created, which is robstrades.com, if you click on Get Your Indicator, there will be rules and conditions for all of my strategies. And there's a video that explains the strategy in detail so you know exactly how to trade it. And there is a kind of a rules cheat sheet that you can print out. And this will give you all of the rules of the strategy. So in this case, if we're talking about oil, we know that session 1 is from 8 a.m. Central Time to 9 a.m. Central Time. So obviously make the adjustment of Eastern Time. And second session in oil is from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We're on the 5-minute time frame. There's only max 1 trade per session, so you're really looking for the first inside bar that you find within that session. And remember, always ignore the first inside bar in session 1. So that would be your 8 a.m. to 8:09 close candle. So that would be, this is our first candle here this morning because this opened at 8 a.m. and would close at 8:05. If this was an inside bar, we would not take that trade because your source bar would be pre-session. Okay, so that's one question that I do get asked a lot. As far as your take profit and your stop loss, very simple to determine. If you do get an inside bar like this one I have shown right here, you would have, let's just say we go to the long. Your entry order would be right at the top of the inside bar, and once this activates to the long, your stop loss goes to the bottom of this source bar. If this bar is 40 ticks, or I'm sorry, if your stop loss is 40 ticks and higher, meaning let's say 45 ticks of stop loss, what I have done is from the beginning, I've always reduced that risk down to 35 ticks of stop. And then also I will then target 1-to-1, 35 ticks of take profit. Now, if if your stop loss is 23 ticks, all you got to do is adjust your take profit to 23 ticks. It's 1-to-1. So, and again, there's indicators for TradingView for inside bars. I use TradingView all the time. It helps me kind of explain the trades in my videos. And if you don't have the opportunity to be in charts all morning or for those 2 hours, there are strategies that have been built out for NinjaTrader that will allow you to auto trade the oil strategy, the gold strategy, and the 15-minute Rob reversal. That's where you can download all of these right from the website, and everything is free. So we do not charge. I should say I do not charge for anything. And then lastly, at the top of this chat, I put some links for my Discord. That's a fantastic resource for traders that, one, are trading these strategies each and every morning. It kind of gives you a group of other traders that are also trading it. So there's things that come up. There are people that obviously are constantly trying to optimize the strategies, which is a great thing. Could be a bad thing, but it could also be a great thing. If you've been following my channel, I really don't deviate much from my strategies. I might take a session out of play until I start to see the stats start to improve. For instance, my oil session 1 has been down this month, and it kind of continues to be down. Let me see if I can. I didn't have a chart. I should have had it, but I could just look it up my manual back testing. So like oil session 1 is currently down 78 ticks for the month of July. So if you're trading 1 E-mini, that's a $780 loss in oil session 1, okay, which is the first session that we trade in oil. Gold is currently up 65 ticks. Let me just make sure that that's including... Sorry, that's not including yesterday's trade, so these will be a little bit off. Gold is up 65 ticks for July, so up $650 there. And then oil session 2, which is the oil trade that we're looking for from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., is only up 16 ticks, so that's $160 of profit. And then lastly, the 15-minute Rob reversal, which is this trade setup here, and the rules for that trade are obviously right here. It's a candlestick pattern that we're looking for with a piece of confluence with the 8 EMA. Very successful trade. It's probably been my best strategy since starting. It's the one where I have funded, taken payouts the most. This is one I trade on my cash account. I trade all of them on my cash account as well. And this one has just been an absolute beast. So like this one's up 70 points already for July. So that would be plus 1,400. So the 15-minute Rob reversal seems to always anchor a lot of the strategies very well. And then I'll get, obviously some questions as to, Rob, why don't you just trade the 15-minute Rob reversal solely, or why don't you trade gold when gold is popping, or oil session 1 or 2? And my answer to that is pretty simple. If you put all your eggs in just one basket, okay, so if you're only taking one trade setup, you guys have seen, excuse me, on my Discord, I post the stats at the end of every single month, and then I also post the stats at the end of every single week for the current month that we currently sit in. So for instance, on Friday, I'll post, where we're going to be currently sitting at for the first 3 weeks of trades in all of the setups. And you'll see if you go back historically, you're going to have sessions that lose. You're going to have sessions that win. You're going to have months where everything is a winner. You're going to have months where everything's a loser. But if you can sort of, let's call it diversifying your trades, I think in the long run, which is what I have become a long-term outlooker of stats. I don't get too consumed with the daily stats anymore like how I used to. And I want to preface that by a few things. If you're a new trader, or if you just came to this channel and you said, man, I like that strategy. I like that oil strategy. I like that gold strategy. It's super simple. It's very easy to implement. And I get it. And then you start trading it. Let's say you started trading it last week. And last week I think we were up. Let's say the first week in July, which we had terrible numbers. And you go through that first week or first 2 weeks and you haven't made any money. I can understand where you would say, you know what? I'm on to the next strategy. I'm on to the next concept that I can find on YouTube from all those gurus that are out there, which I 100% do not consider myself a guru. Don't ever even say that. Honestly, what I have found is that if you diversify and you look and you can really look at the stats, look at your back testing, and get confident with a strategy, you will really stop thinking about the individual trade, the individual day, or maybe the individual week or the individual month. And if you can start to make that small change in your trading style, you're going to notice a lot of things changing. You become more disciplined as a trader. You are not as emotional. There's some days, that suck. There's some days that where everything you take, loses. And you're like, man, this is the worst. But again, if you put so much emphasis on just that day or just those trades, there's no way you're going to ever adapt to any strategy, because every strategy is going to have losses. Every strategy is going to go through periods of time where they suck. They're going to go through periods of time where you think that they just can't lose. Those are the things that, as a trader, if you can start to understand that, I think that it'll probably be one of the best things that will help you in your trading career, or if this is part-time, or if it's a novice, if it's a hobby, whatever it is. And secondly, the rules and conditions, what I would say their number one thing that they will help you with is to eliminate over trading, to eliminate revenge trading. I have set the rules and conditions where you know exactly when to take these trades. 15-minute Rob reversal, 8:30 a.m. Central Time to 1:15 Central Time. You know the exact time frame that you're looking for. You know the exact entry that you're looking for, what your take profit is, what your stop loss is, and the conditions that you will get into a trade. So there should never be a scenario where you think to yourself, would Rob get in? Would, are all the people on Discord getting in on this trade at this point? Well, if you follow the rules and conditions that I trade from, yes, you will know that very simply. And that eliminates the majority of the over trading and the revenge trading. It's going to drop your commission that you pay to your broker drastically down. It's going to avoid those blow up days that we all have, or I should say for myself, that I have always had preceding me changing over to the rules and condition based style of trading. So that benefit alone is a life changer when it comes to trading. I'll be the first one to admit that. I'll be the first one to preach on that all the time, because it is the absolute truth that revenge trading and over trading is the number one killer of most traders. That's that statistic that comes out where 80, 85, 90% of traders fail. Well, they're failing not mainly because they're failing every day. In fact, most traders have a profitable strategy. There's a lot of strategies out there that work and that are profitable, but if there's discretion involved, that adds an entire new layer, because now you don't know, would Rob be taking that trade? Would the people on Discord be taking that trade? That guru that's on YouTube that's giving you some kind of, strategy or concept, you start to question if they would even take that trade or not. Once that creeps in, a lot of issues start to unfold. So I didn't mean to preach here in the first 10 minutes of the stream, but I don't think that this is said enough on YouTube. It's not said enough on many of the channels that are out there. They have a lot of sensational titles and I get it. It attracts views. It attracts subscribers. It's attracting, revenue to their YouTube channel and to a lot of the affiliated services that they put out there. But again, I'm really am trying to present you guys with things that make sense, that are easy to follow, and one that are repeatable. So with that said, let's take a look at the chat. Luis, good morning. Ralph, good morning. Things in Chicago, man, we've had the worst storms the last couple of days. Had a whole bunch of softball games, actually travel softball for my daughters, which I coach their teams. This is pretty much the last week. We got a big tournament this weekend in Janesville. So after this weekend, that pretty much stops all the way up until agent. And in my case, I'm not only an agent, but I also own my Remax office here in the city. So that is my full-time job. So I don't want to consider this a hobby. I consider this a part-time supplemental income for me. And pure transparency, the reason why I even came out with these oil gold strategy that I started trading and the 15-minute Rob reversal was because I knew that it was so simple. And I knew that it would help a lot of traders by just showing it. And then I started the Discord. And I think the Discord has grown to, let's take a look, almost 4,300 members. And I see all of the comments on how it's, how they help them. And I just felt like it was the easiest way for me to show people that this is not extremely, terribly difficult. Granted, trading is never going to be easy. No matter how good you think that you are, there's always going to be challenges. The best traders in the world that get paid millions of dollars have losing years, have losing months, have losing quarters. So don't ever think that, you've 100% figured it out. We're just trying to make little improvements, hopefully every day. What I've really tried to focus in on is eliminating my mistakes. So I would say my biggest problem trading is not faith in my strategies, confidence in my strategy. I have all of that. I would say it's limiting the dumb mental mistakes, which I think comes in with having a full-time job, obviously sometimes running out and taking calls in the morning, just losing kind of focus. Perfect example is Wednesdays when I go live. You guys have seen it firsthand. When I do my videos, I do videos every single day on my trades, and you very rarely see me with a mistake. I can go maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks without having a silly, stupid mistake that costs me money. But if you've noticed on the days that I go live, there's just so much going on my screen with the streaming software, the chat, me trying to explain things kind of on a weekly basis, because I know there are some newer people in here that might have just started trading the strategy. So I feel like that helps with explaining it and actually seeing it in person. But it's difficult. I mean, I don't even trade my cash account on the days that I'm live, and That's kind of the biggest bummer, because I have a hard enough time getting into these trades on these charts up here, where if I go down to my monitor, it's completely full. The one that's right eye level to me, it's completely full with the streaming software. And you minimize the streaming software, everything goes away. The chat goes away. There's a lot of things I haven't figured out 100%. But it adds a complexity there, definitely. And I give props to the YouTube traders that are doing this every single day. They're going live every day. I don't necessarily know if they're trading live accounts or just, evaluations or sims or whatever they're doing. I honestly really don't care what they do, but I do give them props on having the focus to manage the stream, manage the trading. And then in my case, if I hopefully would one day get to the point where I'm also able to manage my cash account. I do have a copier system, which is Replicanto. So I have been kind of messing around with that, like on the days where I'm streaming. I might be able just to, if I take a trade here from this screen, which is these two charts right here that you're seeing, the left-hand side is oil, right-hand side is gold. If I take a trade here, I could probably just take it on the cash account as well, which might be a great idea for next week. I think that might be something that I really look into, because I trade it every day, and I've given you guys some ideas on how I manage my cash account through these live streams. One change that I have done that, and this is just pure psychology. There's no rhyme or reason to this, and don't follow. This is not financial advice. Nothing that I state on this channel is anything to do with financial advice. It's just educational purposes only. The one thing that I've done with the cash account is if, let's say I have a good day. So if I make $400 on my cash account, I think the other day, I think it was Monday, it was a fantastic day. I think I was up like $500 and something with the combination of the Rob reversals and I think the morning strategy, whatever it was. What I will do is I've started on the days where I'm in the green. I will typically take about half of the profits for that day and just pay myself. Just literally take a transfer from my Ninja account to my Chase checking account, and I pay myself on an almost everyday basis. And that has really changed a lot in the psychology. And I've mentioned this a few times on the live chats, where, we all do it. We go to a restaurant, take the family out to go eat. Bill comes in for $140, $150 for dinner. And, you took a payout that day of, let's just say, $200. Well, right away, you can balance out that meal with what you've actually done trading for the 2 hours, in my case, the 2 hours that I trade each morning. And then the other 50%, you just kind of keep in there for the days that you'll have losses, which occur all the time. And, and it'll eventually, hopefully, hopefully you would like to still build on that account at the end of the month. And then if not, hopefully you get to a break even. If you have a terrible month, well, then at that scenario, you might have to either replenish funds back into your brokerage account to stay at a level that you feel comfortable with. My balance is always between $5,000 and $6,000, which is what I trade for my cash account, which affords me the luxury of trading pretty much one E-mini on the oil and in gold. On the 15-minute Rob reversal, typically I'll trade 5 micros. Sometimes I go down to 3 micros based on how the strategy has been doing. Currently, I've been trading them with 5 micros on the cash account, which is fine. It's been going great, and it still keeps me within what I consider to be a conservative range of risk to reward and what risk you're putting out there on each trade. All right, that was a long-winded intro. Sorry, guys, if that was a little long intro, but hopefully hopefully something that I say resonates to you guys or to anybody that's out there. Let's do a quick location check. Let me know where you guys are from. I am obviously in a suburb of Chicago called Niles. And obviously in real estate, I pretty much cover Chicago and most of the northern and western suburbs. So let me know where you guys are from. I know sometimes we get people from different countries, different states, and I'd love to know where people are kind of following me from. What is that order entry panel? Great question. So this one right here is an indicator that I purchased from Trade Devils. Let's see if I can pull them up here. Trade Devils. So if you go to Ninja Trader and you go down to all of the different types of indicators, the one that I purchased is this one, which is the advanced trade panel. It does cost $399. There are some free versions that are out there. Maybe not for my style of trading. This has been fantastic. I've had this indicator for maybe about 4 years now, and I honestly don't even feel like I could trade without it. It's kind of crazy. So that's what this does. And you'll actually see me use this in action here live once we get a trade set up. If I click on the buy up, sell down buttons, it'll automatically straddle the top of the bar and the bottom of the bar with OCO orders, which I have this little option here to check and to uncheck. And obviously, if you've been trading oil and gold, you know that we are entering with OCO orders, depending on if we're going to go long or short, so it cancels out the other order. There is a lot of really great, obviously you could do by chart. So if I click here and I click on the chart, it'll put an entry to buy. These right here I use obviously the most, the buy up and the sell down for this style of trading. You can do buy breakout, sell breakout. So if you have any type of indicator, like let's say a channel, you use trend line channels. This will actually continue with the trade indicator, or I'm sorry, the chart, the indicator on your chart. It will buy once it breaks out of whatever type of trend line you have, and it does it automatically for you. So there's a lot of cool features that are on this. I'll be honest with you, I really only use the 4 buttons at the top, which is buy chart, sell chart, buy up, and sell down. Kurt, yes, I have. I have been using, so I'll get into Top Step here in a little bit, based on, I got a minute left on this candle here, so let me just see if we get a setup here in gold, and then I will, I'll talk to you about Top Step. All right, so we got some people from UK, Canada, Cincinnati. What else? We got people from India, New York, Atlanta, Argentina, Vancouver. Now living in South Florida. Hey Kim, if you don't mind me asking, where in South Florida are you at? All right, so we got 20 seconds left on this candle right here. It currently is an inside bar, but we got to see here if it doesn't pierce the bottom of this candle. 10 seconds. 5, 4. All right, so we got into a very quick order here. Let's see. Looks like 310. So 31 ticks is what we are risking. And 31 ticks is our take profit. So 310 bucks here. Pretty much right to the wick. You guys saw that entry. Obviously, I used the sell down feature, which put my entry at the bottom of this inside bar and pierced it by like a tick. What we're looking for now at this point is that momentum play to the downside, which we still haven't gotten yet here, but let's see if we can get a push here. Again, our stop loss again goes at the top of your source bar. Remember, the source bar is the candle right to the left of your inside bar. That is your activation candle. And once you put your stop loss there, that equals 31 ticks. So we are looking for 31 ticks of take profit. Fort Lauderdale, oh nice. So we got a place in Deerfield Beach, which is about 20 minutes north of Fort Lauderdale. So when we go up to we go up, we fly into Fort Lauderdale a lot. I saw another question. Let's see here. So that was a nice little push there. Really nice little push. That's the momentum play that we're looking for. That's a perfect example of it. Now we got a little bit of a retracement, and now we're hopefully can get a final push here. I would say that if we can get past this 24.76, we got probably a pretty good chance of taking full take profit here. And I will reduce my risk down by 50% once we get to about 70% take profit, which in this case I would say would be probably right here on that 24.76 number. So we're getting pretty close to me reducing risk here. And then the risk would get reduced down to about $150 because I can't take it to 305 or 155. All right, so right there we can reduce. So let's take that to 150. And now we just sit and watch the trade to see hopefully if we can get, so you can see we got some resistance right where I was saying, right around this number at 24.76. Not had the best luck lately with the 50% reduction. They seem to keep coming and tapping my stop loss out for some losses in the last week or two, but we'll see what happens here. Kurt, so your question about trading live funds, oh man. So we had the equities open at 8:30. I haven't started my levels yet. Hopefully, once the end of this trade, we can start looking at our levels for this morning. So we had the equity open, which obviously spikes the commodities markets. We got a nice little push there. I think we probably came about 5 ticks away from full take profit, but this doesn't look good. Yes, trading live compared to funded account, yeah, live is 10 times easier than a funded account, just because with a funded account, you've got rules that are in place. So we just had a little bit of slippage there on the loss, $160, which is a real shame because we were probably about 4 ticks away from full take profit there, which would have been a beautiful trade to start the morning. But that's the way it goes. Now, what I like to mark off is I like to see if my 50% reduction is what caused me to have the loss there, because that's another thing that I am tracking now a lot more. So let me no, that would have been a full loss. So right there in that scenario, if you were in this strategy, well, I don't know. Looks like maybe you would have been still in this trade by a tick. Nope, that would have been a full loss right here. So the 50% reduction did end up saving me $150 on here, but overall, just a crappy trade this morning here. That was a shame. So put that down as 15. No. Yeah, 15 ticks. I think it took 16 ticks of loss, so we'll put 16 here. Okay. So to answer Kurt's question, we do have a setup on oil right now. God, that one's going to sting. That one's going to sting. I knew that once we could get past this level here, I kind of figured that we would hit full take profit, but we had a very strong reversal from there. All right, as far as the funded accounts and evaluations versus live funds. Well, Kurt, with live funds, there's no restrictions besides whatever margin requirements are set by the broker, and you have full authority to trade what you want as long as you've got the money in there to trade. So, from that standpoint, it is easier. But ultimately, you have to trade your funded accounts like you would trade your live accounts. And if you trade your live accounts shitty, and you're constantly blowing up even your cash accounts or depositing money, which I was fully guilty of that the first 2.5 years of my trading. If you trade your cash accounts poorly, why would you even attempt to trade your funded account, because you're more than likely going to trade that poorly as well. So I think that there is a correlation there where, obviously there's discipline. There's two trains of thoughts in my mind on eval versus funded. And on the eval, and this is just kind of a broad statement, okay? I'm not calling out people or saying about myself. On an eval, there's this thought process that you can be more aggressive to pass that evaluation account. Maybe try to pass it quicker, and hopefully try to get to funded account. Well, and then the other train of thought, which is my train of thought, is trade your eval like you would trade your funded account, trade your funded account like you would trade your live account. And that is, to me, probably the best strategy. It's going to take you a longer time to pass your eval. It's going to take you a longer time to get a payout from your funded account. But you're in the game. You're in the game, and you continue to be in the game. You live to trade the next day, which is very difficult. So to answer the question, as far as payouts from Top Step, yes, there has been... I've had multiple payouts from Top Step. I would say that it's the first prop account, first evaluation account that I ever started with, and it's the only one that I've ever used. So I have never, I know there's like Apex and there is a few other popular evaluations or prop firms that are out there. I honestly, for the first 2.5-3 years of my trading career, I never even thought about prop accounts or prop firms. It was always just trading my cash account. And, once I started to, I can't honestly remember, it was probably some YouTuber that I was following that, was trading it, and I think at that time they had, some kind of sale with Top Step, and I had started looking into it through the website. And I talked it over with my brother-in-law, who really got me into trading. And I kind of thought that it might be a good idea that, if I can pass the evaluations, you're making $3,000 on an evaluation. When you pass it, you should be able to continue that with your funded. And that's where I kind of go back to what I was saying earlier. We got 8 seconds left here in oil session 1. So let me just... All right, so we've got orders placed here now in oil session 1. Looks like we're going to get activated here to the short. And Jay Kelly, I will answer your question as well. Let me just... Okay, it looks like a pretty small trade, $110. All right, so we're set up. I mean, you can just see how easy that was to get into that trade. Set up your brackets, takes a matter of seconds. We did get activated here to the short based on this red inside bar. Stop loss goes at the top of your source, which again is 110, and that is a 1-to-1 risk to reward, so that's what we're looking for. Let me see, Rob. Question about the Rob reversal strategy. Does the second candle have to close within the body of the first, or is it within the wick? Okay, within the wick is okay. I think if you look at my first video that I put out there on the strategy, that was sometime last year. I might have contradicted myself, or I might have made a mistake as to when I was explaining the entry. I did create an updated version of that video, and it's linked in my description on all of my videos. So if you want, you could rewatch that one, and that will explain to you the scenario there. So we didn't get the momentum push here to the downside as I was hoping. We got a small push of maybe about 4 ticks and then kind of right back into this range. So second trade of the morning does not look very good. And I promise once this trade is over, we will take a look at the levels here this morning. I'll share with you guys my trade from yesterday. If you guys watched the video, it'll kind of be a repeat of that, but got super unlucky with that ES trade from yesterday. And I'll show you guys that on the chart. I left the charts with all my levels on from yesterday. We'll wipe them all out, and then we will actually draw out the levels live so you guys can see exactly how I do it. Let me go refresh my coffee and I will be right back. All right, I'm back. I'll move this down. Of course, right as I move the chart down a little bit. So 2 losses already this morning. Took a loss in gold and a loss in oil, down $270 for the morning strategies. So now the only possible trade on the strategies would be oil session 2, which starts at 9 a.m. So that gives me some time now to, let's just take a look at the Rob reversal. Hold on one sec. All right, so on the Rob reversal, no, nothing yet. Remember, we start here at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. Now, let's just say, for instance, that this 15-minute bar was to close anywhere in this wick, as long as it doesn't make a higher high, and it closes as an up candle, you would have a pattern to go long. Now, more than likely, this is still going to close below the 80 MA, so I don't see a possible setup unless it's to close somewhere up here, but that would be a lot of things would have to happen for this to be a valid setup to go long. All right, let's pull up our levels here. So oh, let me show you guys the trade from yesterday. This guy, right? Oh, let me get my right account here. Okay, we are about, what is this? 52,191. Took a $190 loss yesterday on this trade right here. So I had a setup that I was calling for a short off of this 15-minute level at 57.07, and this sucker. Wait, where is it? Where was this guy? Yeah, right here. So this guy came to about a little less than half a point away from tapping my entry order, and I would have taken a $300 profit for sure. That's what my bracket orders are set on this Top Step X. 300 stop loss, 300 take profit. So I've just got bracket orders that open up. So I would have taken full take profit here. It was a little unfortunate, and then I was not really paying attention to the charts, and I got activated in here into this trade right from my level. I was a little unfortunate with this guy because this would have gone right back down, and then I pretty much adjusted my stop loss to right over this 5-minute level at 57.10, and then got knocked out of this trade. So the setup was right. The thought process was right. Got a little unfortunate down here as well, where I thought that, this one probably came a 1.75 away from tapping me into a buy order here, which I was going to be retargeting the same level at 56.97. So really unfortunate on a few different setups yesterday. But let's go to where price action currently is. Let me just delete all my levels so we can map these out together live on stream. And then these down here, I don't think I have to touch because these haven't been touched into yet. So for those of you who have been following my levels trades, I start on the 15-minute time frame. I always do this at 7:30 a.m. I post them on Discord by about 7:40 a.m. So about 40 to 50 minutes before the market opens. So again, we're doing this a little late today because I like to keep these to show you guys in real time what it is that I'm looking for. And right off the bat, on the 15-minute level, I see a level right here at 56.55. I will make this a solid blue line, which represents to me a 15-minute level. And what I'm looking for on these levels is very simple. I'm almost looking for a V or U-shaped pattern, or I shouldn't say pattern, but price action, where price action is obviously going in one direction, and then we get a reversal, and price action decides to go in the complete opposite direction. So there is something here that is causing the marketplace to reverse. Granted, I would have liked to see this go up a little bit higher, but just for example purposes, this would be a level that I would map out on my levels in the morning time. And what I like to do is I like to take the two bodies and I like to put at the lowest point where both bodies intersect. I do not use the wicks. So I would not place this over here. I would place this in where the two bodies at the lowest point or the highest point where they actually intersect. So that's one level. My goal each day is to come up with 2 levels below price action and 2 levels above price action. Yesterday, very easy time coming up with levels. I actually saw the market really well for the first time in about a week and a half, where when we're just ripping in one direction, it's very difficult to trade because there's really not much above price action that you like to see, and vice versa. If the market is only dumping, it's very difficult to come up with levels on the downside. I shouldn't say that. I guess if it's dumping, it's easier because we do have price action that we can kind of always go back to. When it's going up, which is what it's been doing lately, that's where I think things become a little bit more difficult. So here we were kind of in a range for a pretty long period of time. And then this, I believe, might have been news, or this was the equities open right here at 8:30. But you can see where these two bodies intersect. You had obviously a big thrust in one direction. So I could make a case for another 15-minute level right at that point there. So now I've got my 2 levels below me. Let me delete these from yesterday. We don't need these anymore. And then now I'll try to find 2 levels above me. I see a half-ass good level right here. Price action was coming down. We had some upward movement, but just not really the U-shaped that I'm really looking for. This was more of a pause in the market and then a straight shot down. But there is a clear indication that something occurred right here in the marketplace. And then lastly, I would say right here, which is pretty much the tops, not a strongest level as well, because you can see these candles that preceded it or followed it were very close of tapping into them. But again, it's really the only thing I have above me that I like. So now I've got 2 15-minute levels below me. I got 2 15-minute levels above me. And just make sure I'm looking at oil. And Chad, I do rely on you guys sometimes. If you do see, let's say, an oil setup or a 15-minute Rob reversal forming, just let me know. Put it in the chat, as it's a little difficult training and showing what it is that I'm trying to do here on the charts. So now that I've got the 15 minutes level mapped out, again, 57.18, 56.92, 56.55, and 56.46. I will then switch over to the 5-minute chart, and I will just do the exact same thing. The one thing I like right here is that I've got a 15-minute level that also intersects at a 5-minute level, which I consider to be a very strong level right here. So this 56.55 is something I would definitely want to watch and definitely would like to include somehow in my setup. I've got a 5-minute level now right here. I will change that from a solid line to a dotted line right at 56.61. So what we're doing is we're trying to build we're trying to build levels that will eventually turn into, hopefully, a trade setup. And here we have a level, obviously, but this is just a range. I don't really like to use anything here. Let me see if I can draw a box so I can make this as clear as possible. Right here. Don't like trading anything right here, okay? Because this has just been tapped into many times. If I come up, I've got another 5-minute level exactly where I have a 15-minute level. So I like this. I like this level right here. We're going to call this 56.92 a very strong level. Okay. If I keep looking, I keep looking. I got nothing. I got a level above this level right here. So you can see this dotted line and this solid line are very close to each other. Those are good because those start to develop, you start to develop kind of like budget trades, really cheap trades where stop loss could be very could be very small and target an area that is larger. But if I zoom out, I haven't looked at anything below price action yet, but if I'm looking above me, I got a 15-minute level, a strong level right here that is at 56.92. The next level above that does not come into play until 57.18. That is about 26 points of space right here. And 26 points on the ES, as you know, is it's a huge range on the ES. If we're talking about the NQ, they could do that in a 5 or a 15-minute candle with no problem. The ES does not run like that. And there's no real trade opportunity here. I would love to take a short here. I would love to take a trade right from here and take a short and retarget a new area or a new level that gets formed. Right now, I'd have to be targeting down here. The issue with this trade is that, yes, I have a clear entry to go short because I've already indicated that this is a strong 15-minute and 5-minute level, but I don't have a clear stop loss. I have nowhere in any of this price action here that would tell me that I've got an area where I feel safe to put a stop loss that I don't feel that would be tapped into. And that is what starts to develop ideas on what to trade and what not to trade. Okay. So let me just finish off the 5-minute levels below where price action is at. And let's see if there's any opportunities on a possible retracement. Let me get to price action. Okay, so we got price action right here. And then, so this is below where price action currently sits at. And I've got a level right here. Again, we've got a strong, let's just say this is a downtrend. We had a big wick on a news candle, still continuation down, and then a big movement up. So I've got a 5-minute level right here at 56.36 that I mapped out. You can kind of make a case for one right here as well. The only issue with this level is that it almost was tapped into again by 2 or 3 different candles. So again, it starts to kind of lessen the strength of that 56.42 5-minute level. Obviously with this wick here, if you guys have been watching me trade these levels, I will always tell you that, when you have big news events and you get these huge wicks, these wicks will usually run a lot of the levels that you have to the left of it, okay? So that's pretty much all that I see. And now if I go top-down approach, I will start to see if there is any type of trading scenarios that I see. And I do see one already. So let's go over this one. If we can get a move, I see 2. I'm going to explain both. I'm going to explain why one looks better than the other. If we get a move right down to this 5-minute level at 56.61, we could retarget all the way back up to 56.92. Not realistic. Not in my opinion with the ES. If there was another level right down here, then I can make a case for a trade because then I've got a stop loss level right below me, which is a strong one. Okay, so you can make a case for taking a trade from here, yes. But again, I don't have a clear stop loss or a clear take profit. So one part of that equation does not work out. Now, I also have a scenario where if I can get a retracement down to this 15-minute level at 56.45, I can retarget this strong level at 56.55, okay? And then I've got a level of defense, which is what I would consider my stop loss, at 56.42 and 56.36. This now looks realistic to me because if I put in my tool, my trade tool, I would be targeting 9.25 points and I would have a stop loss, let's say somewhere between 6 and 7 points, which is about a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. Decent sized trade or decent setup. So what I will do is I will go in here and I will do, let's do a limit buy. I'll leave it right at this 15-minute level. and we will wait to see what price action decides to do once it gets to this level. So again, you could take a long from here, or I'm sorry, I would say a long from here, use this as a stop loss. There's definitely going to be a reaction, I would assume, here. And if not, if it comes right through it, this is my next level. And I've got a realistic target for a take profit and a stop loss. So I'm going to pause there for a couple of seconds. I'm going to pause there for a couple of seconds. And then if anybody's got any questions on what I just mapped out or what I just explained, if anybody's got any question there, and then from there I'll go on to the ES. I'm sorry, to the NQ. All right. All right, let's go to the NQ. Top-down approach. These were a lot of levels from yesterday. I believe most of these got already. Okay, so all the way up to here. This pierced. Okay, these were the setups from yesterday. So I'll leave these above me where they're at. And then let's take a look at where. Let's delete all these guys. Just so we can do this all. That was a nice move right there. I think I can leave this guy here as well. All right, let's jump to the 15-minute. Let's blow this chart out a little bit so we can see what it is that we're looking at. All right, so now again, we're looking for a 15-minute level on the NQ. Do I see anything? Nope, I don't like this level either, so I can delete that. That's still there. All right, so there's nothing here. I mean, we're looking at 500 points of movement from this level to where we're currently at, and there's not one 15-minute level that I feel comfortable in mapping out. Well, hold on a second. Hold on one second. Okay, I think I can make a case for one right here. Let's change this to blue line. I can make a case for one right here. Okay, so that's two above price action. That's decent. I didn't think I would find one. So I got a level at 23.53 and 24.54. Now I'm going to go to the left and let's see. It's probably going to take some. Here we go. Let's blow this out here a little bit. Price action right here. Perfect example of a level. You see the movement up. You got a movement down. You got a strong move out. Line that intersects both of the bodies. Perfect level. Can I even make a case for one right here as well? Can make another case for one right here or here. Which one's better? Let's do it right here. All right, so let's go back to where price action currently sits. And here are my levels. So on the 15-minute, I've got one at 24.54, at 3.53. Below me, I've got levels at 0.76, 0.50, and 19.923. Okay, these are the four levels that I'm going to work with for today's session. And now what I will do is I will jump into the 5-minute and see if I can identify any 5-minute levels to build some trading opportunities on. I'm going to put one right here at the 22.34 number. Got one right here at the 23.14 number. And nothing great here, but we can maybe mark this one off at 23.75. All right, and then now what I'll do is I've already marked off three levels, three 5-minute levels above price action. Now let me see if I can find anything below price action. All right, here we go. Okay, price action is represented by that line that keeps moving up and down. So I've got a strong level right here. And the reason why it's a strong level, I've got a 15-minute level intersecting at the exact same point that I have a 5-minute level intersecting. So this level at 20.076 to me would be considered a strong level. And then below me, I've got another level right here at 20.028. Don't have anything else after that. So let me go to where price action currently sits. Let me blow this chart out a little bit. And now let's see if we can identify any type of trading opportunities. The unfortunate part with these three levels is that one, these are all very close to each other. So risk to reward then starts to get pretty poor. Yes, I can very well say that you are going to get a reaction once we get to this level or this level. But if we get a reaction, where do we target here? We target this level all the way back up to 233. It's 200 points. That's not realistic. So again, no real trade setup from the long perspective. On the short perspective, there's a trade here that I do like, which would look something like this. An entry to go short off of 23.14, retarget 23.34, clear stop losses below you, okay, above you, okay? So you can visually start to see what it is that I'm looking for on these levels. They eventually will get you to the point where you will start to see areas that make sense, where the risk to reward is decent, where you've got clear entries, clear stop losses, and clear take profits. There's not a setup every day. I've been stuck at this 52,300 range for maybe 2 weeks, just because I've only taken maybe 1 or 2 setups in that time. There are days where I take a trade almost every day and I see the markets very clearly. But this has helped me understand levels of where price action decides to do what it wants to do. And then I get a good question that correlates to my morning strategies that say, well, Rob, if you feel like you understand where price action is going to go, why don't you implement these levels on your morning oil and gold strategies? Well, one, great question. Two, it doesn't play out the same way, and I can't understand it. I can't explain it to you why it does not. But I map gold and I map oil like how I try to map the NQ and the ES, and they do not follow this type of reaction to price action. So that is one reason why I do not implement this into those markets. I see it working on an everyday basis on the NQ and the ES. Granted, you got to make decisions like in every trading. This is discretionary. Do you feel more comfortable with a long here, or do you feel more comfortable with a short here? Do you feel more comfortable with a short off of this level or a short off of this level right here, retargeting this level here? Yes, I like this trade probably even better, but because I like this reaction point on the 23.53, but my risk to reward sucks. It's not that great right here. So that's why it helps me make those tough decisions. Let's take a look at oil. So we got an inside bar, but we got 4.5 minutes left on here, so I can still take some time. Let's take a look at the ES real quick. So we're pretty close here, tapping into my buy order sitting at 56.46. or not. Maybe this has already been, this might have been already the move. It's about 1.25 away, so we'll see. We'll see here what happens. So just to recap, we took a 50% loss in gold this morning. We were about 3 or 4 ticks away from full take profit, lost that trade, and then lost oil session 1. So we're currently down 270 bucks. Really, the only setup that I have left would be a oil session 2, which we're currently in, and this might invalidate this setup here, but we'll see. Still got 3 minutes left on this candle. So we are in a trade. So what can I do here? Stop loss. I think I like that. I like the 3-3. I like the 300. So we'll see here. Tapped right into my entry here off that 56.46 number, and currently up 200. So we'll see here if we can get to this level. Now, a good level here to target would be the 56.55. I do see that probably being even a better target right there. We're up $200 already on this trade. So let's see if I can reduce my stop loss here right down to there. 87 bucks I'm risking. All right, I'll be right back. Let's take a look at this trade. There you go. So we made $434 on that trade. Again, simple setup. Exactly what it is that I was looking at. 15-minute level as an entry, which is always a really good entry to go off of because they are stronger. Clear stop loss, where you guys saw that I had put it on. And then a clear take profit, which is targeting another 15-minute level, which again is a very strong level right from here. So really nice trade here this morning. So now I currently am about 375 bucks away from funding 2 accounts on this one because I've got another eval that's tied into this leader account. So that'll be nice. And you guys know me, I like to trade 1 levels trade per day. So this will probably be it for the day as far as the levels trades. And then let's jump onto the NQ. Yeah, pretty strong sell-off on the NQ for damn sure. And again, a really nice level right here to trade from. I just don't have a really clear take profit unless something, let's just say that price action was to go all the way back up to right here, okay? This would obviously leave me a new level right here, 5-minute level. And now, if this was to continue to go up, I would have a clear 5-minute level right here, where then I could take a trade. I could take a setup to go long from the 15-minute level, target the 5-minute level, have another 15-minute level as a stop loss right below me. But again, price action I'd have to see this actually react to the upside so that I know I have something strong right here. As of right now, I don't know that. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. It was a kind of an easy setup in my mind. And just like yesterday I saw two setups that both played out perfectly. Just I was probably about a point away from the clear entries, and that happens some days. So let's, all right, we got 3 minutes left in oil, which would be my last morning strategy trade that I could take here this morning. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. The Rob reversal, just straight downward push, so no possible trade setups here yet. All right, and now I will be back in 2. All right, so we got about 20 seconds left on this inside bar setup. We didn't do an equal low here. I believe it was equal low. Yeah, it looks like an equal low. So we'll see here if we get this trading opportunity. Looks like we will. All right, so I got my order straddled on this red inside bar here. Let's see what oil wants to do here this morning. Session 2. I also did roll over. I didn't go over the news yet this morning. I should have done that from the beginning. Sorry about that. We do have oil inventory that's coming out in 10 minutes, so this is probably going to play into that. Took a nice winner last Wednesday on oil inventory. And I think I took 2 losers on the previous few weeks on oil inventory. So we'll see here. I did roll over to the September contract of oil this morning. Ninja prompted me, and then I just took a look at volume. And let me just make sure that that's still correct. So volume right now is at 118. Let's take a look at the August. August volume sits at 190, so almost the same. Let's see. No, so September's futures contract for oil is trading more volume than August, so that rollover was okay. So now we're just kind of seeing here what price action wants to do. Okay. Oh, let's take a look at the equities markets. All right, so this left a level in its wake, right at 56.48. I've got another level I should have mapped out right here at 56.70. I can delete this level because price action went right through that, so that disqualifies that level already. This level's already been tapped into once, so you want to be careful with the multiple touches on levels. And then let's look at the NQ. Let me take a look here really quick before I make a mistake. So in order to go long here, we're going to have a little bit of difficulty, in my opinion. Oh, all right. So we're in. We got 140 bucks is our stop, and we've got $140 of take profit. So we'll see here what this might lead right into the oil inventory report coming out in 7 minutes. So we'll take a look and see what happens. I don't know why, but my TradingView chart is not showing an equal low on the CL. Let's take a look. I got TradingView right here. So the low was 80.86. Yeah, so I've got equal lows and equal lows on the source and the inside bar on my TradingView chart. Just make sure that you're on the September contract. That's what I'm trading right now. You might be on August. I think. I don't know. I'm just... And like I said, I think we're going to have some difficulty here on the long side. But we will see. There's the momentum. Let's see if we can get a continuation of that momentum, which would be the ideal scenario here on this trade would be to hit take profit prior to oil inventory report. That would be fantastic. But in my experience on these trades leading into it is it starts to kind of just range for a while leading into it, and then we'll see here what happens. All right, so we're still in this oil session 2 trade. We got about 3 minutes before oil inventory report. And we're pretty much right at our entry point. Kelly, I noticed your version 2 reversal indicator. 4F5 bullish setup. Kelly, once this trade comes to an end here, I'll pull up the Rob reversal chart and then we'll take a look at that date and see if I can answer that question or not. Good morning, Rob. I watched you draw trend lines from the 15 minutes. Is there a limit to how far you go back to draw? Yeah, so I'm not really concerned with the time period that I go back. What I'm mainly concerned about is fresh levels that have not been tapped into previously. And again, if that takes me back to last week's price action, that's what I have to do. Typically on my levels, since I'm really only looking for 2 levels above me and below me, I would say I don't really ever go back more than 5 days of 5 trading days. But that's not always the case. Many times it's the day of or the day prior. So not looking good. More than likely, we got a minute left here. We probably going to get a spike in both directions. So based on where my stop loss is at, this doesn't look like a great scenario here. Because usually we'll get a spike in one direction very quickly and then it'll just jump to the other side. So this is less than 50-50. "20 seconds to report." "10 seconds." There's the spike. Hit a little bit of resistance there. Let's see. Well, not a crazy, or I guess kind of similar to last week's, where we just kind of stayed in a range there for a little bit. Got pretty close here. I would say maybe a tick away from getting my stop loss hit on the initial spike with slippage. It's probably 1 tick. Yep. So we need a breakout here, but not looking very good. All right, so got knocked out. Oil session 2, oil inventory report proved to be a big fat loser. So down today 410 on the morning strategies. So that one, I guess it took 3 losers there this morning. So not the best there. So that ends the sessions for oil and in gold. Obviously, pretty terrible day of trading that. Again, down 410 on those 3 trades. Had a nice trade on the ES for 434 right here based off of this move. Oof, man, that would have been a nice trade right there too. I think I even mentioned this trade right here. I think I even mentioned taking a long from here, retargeting this 56.55 number, which would have been a fantastic trade. But let's see if I can answer Kelly's question on the Rob reversal. Let's see what date she's saying. 7:15. Let's take a look at 7:15. 7:15 would be right here. Yeah, I think that was a day of 2 trades. So you would have had a long setup right here at 9 a.m. 15-minute candle. That would have got you your 35 points. And then we also had a short trade here at 11:45 to the downside for another 35 points of take profit. So my version 2.0 fired off a short entry at 11:30. So Kelly, I'm not sure why it would not have fired off on yours. The only thing I can think of, and I was not in front of the charts for this secondary trade. I was in the charts for this trade because I was able to record this trade for this winner. But here, and this is just hypothetical, I don't know because I was not actually looking at this chart at this point. I was already at work. But there could have been a scenario where price action either dropped too quickly, which would not have gotten you into this order. So you might have not been able to get your limit order to go short quick enough, even with the automated strategy. I've had that happen to me a few times. But if you're saying you didn't even get a setup here, that I would not be able to explain. You should have gotten a setup. All right, so a mixed bag today of trading. Took a nice levels trade. We might get... So on the 15-minute Rob reversal, we would have a scenario where still 10 minutes left on this chart, so a lot, I should say 10 minutes left on this candle, so a lot can still happen here. But if this closes as a down bar and it does not make a lower low from this previous candle, you're obviously going to be below the 80 MA, so you could possibly have a setup here to go short. But again, this would need to close as a down candle at this point. So we'll see what occurs here. But it's 9:35. I wish the morning strategies would have done a little bit better here this morning. They have been, I would say, I think oil session 1 and oil session 2 are probably almost the same. So that's probably break even. Gold is probably up a little bit. The 15-minute Rob reversal has been doing good. Obviously took a really nice trade on my levels charts, but overall I would say maybe a C grade on the tradings today with the strategies, but that's what it is. I got a great question yesterday on Discord. It said, how do you deal with like losses? How are you kind of like so calm on your days of losses? Well, the easiest thing I can tell you is that, and maybe I sound like a broken record, but you treat every trade as a trade leading to something bigger, leading to something longer term. If you get so consumed with the individual trade or the individual day, you'll drive yourself nuts. You're more than likely drive yourself to start flopping strategies and going back into YouTube, going back into strategy videos, only to maybe lead you to another path that might work for a couple days. You might have, it's about the actual psychology of trading that is of huge importance in this game. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not an expert, but I've been trading this long enough to know that if you get consumed with one day's results or a week of results or a month of results, you're just adding so much added stress to your trading that it becomes very difficult. And obviously today is a great example of that. So all I do is I look forward to tomorrow. I look forward to the trades setups tomorrow to try to get that back. And if it doesn't happen tomorrow, it might happen the next day. We'll see. With that, I think I am done with the session. Let me just make sure that there's nothing here I can leave you guys with. So I've got another 5-minute level right here. This 15-minute level I can delete because this has already been exhausted. below us. This is pretty terrible risk to reward down here. And then on the NQ, no other level here to be marked off. So I would say be careful today with trading. Maybe on the NQ, a short from this 2314 number might look okay. You could also take possibly a short from the 2353 number, retargeting the 314. Let me just see what this risk to reward would look like, because visually it doesn't look very good. So that's a target of 38 points, and probably need 33 points of stop. So again, trading one E-mini on that is, I mean, it's $700. So maybe you can reduce down to 5 micros, but that's what I would see as a possible trade scenario. Down here, there's nothing that I like. And I'm sorry, I forgot to go over the news this morning. So we had some high impact news this morning at 7:30. We had U.S. housing starts, which looked like a positive number, which I can't understand because I don't see any housing starts where I'm at. And we had U.S. industrial production, which was also a positive number. And oil inventory also came in the green. So those were the news for today. Sorry, I should have probably gone over that in the early part of the video, but I'm still learning. With that being said, I'm going to be off to work. I look forward. Hopefully you guys got some value off of this. At the top of the chat, there is links for my website that you guys can download the indicator, the strategies to auto trade all 3 of my morning strategies. Or if you're just looking for indicators, that's available there as well. It's all free. There's a link to, if you're looking to get funded through Top Step, I do have an affiliation with them. Channel makes a very few dollars on that. And again, it's the only revenue source that I have outside of YouTube. And there is a link to Discord, which is also free. And there's a ton of like-minded traders that are trading these strategies each and every morning. So that's a great place to start. I'll leave the chat open for a few minutes for any questions. I hope to be able to answer anything that you've got. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, guys.